You won't be able to get away from mosques now, guys, especially you guys in Ontario. They're going to be above ground as well as underground. There is a petition circulating, focused for Muslims, to sign it. Last I saw it, it was at around 2,000 signatures. I'm going to put everything in the description. Please go over there and click the links. The petition is from the Abu Ubaidah Islamic Center. And I'm going to put a little bit of a, I'm going to explain to you where this name comes from, this Abu Ubaidah, in the, as a link. So please check it out, because you guys should know these weird names and what they mean and what they reference. Abu Ubaidah well, the petition itself was started off by the Islamic Center that is known as Abu Ubaidah Islamic Center. They want to create prayer spaces and subway facilities like those that already exist in Tokyo or other cities around the world. That's the petition that they want. That's the wording in it. Abu Ubaidah was a Sahaba. He was one of the close friends or partners or companions. I guess a companion, that's the proper description. A companion to the Prophet Muhammad. Abu Ubaidah migrated twice. The first migration was to Habasha, and I do have a video, maybe I should link that too, where I talked about Habasha in Ethiopia and its sort of significance in Islamic history. This is one of the major places that Muslims migrated to. So Abu Ubaidah migrated to Habasha, but then he also migrated to Medina. And he saw some conquests with the Prophet. So you have an Islamic center that is built in honor of his name. And this Islamic Center wants now to petition the Toronto city. They've petitioned the TTC, which is the Toronto Transit Commission, to build spaces in the subway stations, so that they can go pray. They actually make it sound like Canada is so far behind the game of accommodating to Muslims that we should really get with the program already and build these subway mosques like Tokyo and the entire rest of the world. Yeah, so come on, Canada. And then they say, like meditation, I love this. I actually laughed out loud when I read this. They say that like meditation and exercise, prayer has been part of the Muslim individual practice for the past 1400 years. Muslims, and then they say, after they compare it to exercise and yoga or meditation, they actually say that Muslims are obliged to pray 5 times a day. And it varies between 5 a.m. in the morning to 12 midnight. And that's a lie, because it starts actually much earlier than this in Ramadan. Actually, it never stops. In Ramadan, prayer goes, it's called Taraweeh. It goes on through the night. Like, you won't be able to sleep. Cause I know this because, yeah, I had 4 mosques around my house in Saudi Arabia. So yeah, meditation and exercise is what the Islamic community who wants to build prayer rooms in subway stations compare Islamic prayer to. I'm sorry, but are we supposed to build gyms as well, or just the prayer rooms? And yoga stations? Maybe we should do that too. But that comparison is garbage, okay? And I can tell you that Islamic prayer is absolutely not like meditation or exercise. They actually contradict themselves right after comparing it to that by saying obligatory. So they can't really lie without shooting themselves in the foot in the same sentence, it seems. So prayer is mandatory in Islam. It's one of the main pillars of Islam. You can't be a Muslim if you don't pray. And people get flogged in Muslim majority countries. People get flogged by order of law. They get beaten, they get jailed, they get harassed, they even can get killed if they don't pray. Now, would you get killed and flogged or cut off by your community and your family if you don't exercise or meditate? Does that happen? Also, in the description, I'm going to put another link about the sayings from the Prophet advising Muslims to urge their children to start prayer at the age of 7 and then to beat them. But then they added lightly. And I can tell you that nowhere in the hadiths, the actual Arabic saying from the Prophet doesn't say lightly. It says beat your children. That lightly that you're going to see in between brackets, that's been added. So yeah, beat them at the age of 10 for prayer. So that's Islam and prayer. So you're probably, what I envision is you're going to be going in your subway station or whatnot, and in the Muslim prayer room, they're going to be, of course, praying to their Almighty Allah. And you might even see some child abuse there if the children don't want to pray. So yeah, start getting used to that. But it's cultural. I can tell you horror stories about prayers and mosques and the sound that comes off. It's called azan, adan in basically Arabic, azan in Egyptian, because I know my Egyptian accent really bothers people. So the refugee that lives with me, his father used to watch him as he prayed in the house with a cane in his hand. And whenever he would do a step wrong, the father would cane him during the prayer. And I don't know if you guys know this about Islamic prayer, but once engaged in prayer, you cannot disengage. The sky can be falling, the world can be ending as you are praying as a Muslim. You cannot engage. You have to continue your prayer to Allah until it is done. So when he was getting caned and beaten and abused by his dad, he couldn't stop prayer. He couldn't cry. He couldn't run. He had to continue praying and to continue to get beat. This is just a little side note for you. For me, personally, the sound of azan, the prayer, the call to prayer, other than the fact that it's a huge noise pollution component in cities, I had about 4 mosques around my house, and they would echo. The way mosques work is the major mosque would begin the call to prayer, and then the second mosque would begin, and then the third. So there's a little bit of an echo effect going on. I lived with this for my entire 26 years in Saudi Arabia. There were nights where I would not sleep, especially during Ramadan. It was nonstop. So this, for me, the sound of azan is worse than an air raid siren. Like, that's the amount of anxiety it would cause me. And I don't know if you guys have seen the prayer calls over Big Ben and the prayer calls in major cities in Germany. This is essentially how the Islamists, I shouldn't say Muslims, Islamists signal to the world that a country has fallen and that they have successfully conquered yet another nation. So yeah, then, yes, there are about 94,000 mosques in Saudi Arabia, by the way. Just wanted to throw that little tidbit in there for you. Then in the article that I am linking, they say that Muslims could continue to have spaces like this in schools, in colleges, universities, hospitals, and in malls, and even in the airport. Like, whoa, look at this tall list. They're basically telling you that this is just the start. But this isn't new. We know this, we've seen it. And if you haven't seen it, go Google some footages of Islamic prayers in Western nations that have recently fallen. yeah, this is basically the start of a tall list of orders that will give them more religious authority and rights, as it simultaneously strips and eats away at your rights, by the way, because this is literally just the beginning. I was having a little bit of a walk in one of the parks here that are known to be it's known to be a dog park. Like, people go there to walk their pets, to walk their dogs. What did I see? I saw 5 Muslims praying in that park, in public. This was very early in the morning, by the way. So they made a point to leave their homes, because usually morning prayer is either done in a mosque or in your home, because it's so early. They made sure to go do it publicly in a dog park. Now, go figure that one out. What do you think they're going to request from the city next here? Do Christians and Jewish people do this, by the way? Petition cities to accommodate their religious beliefs, which is something that's supposed to be personal? Maybe we should all petition the city for our religious prayer rooms then. What do you think? My advice, I'll end this video with urging you to not allow this to happen and to fight it.